Hey, let me ask you something. When you wake up in the morning, what's the first thought that runs through your head? Is it something like, ugh, another day, another struggle? Or is it, today is mine, today I rise, today I win? See, the way you start your day, the way you carry your attitude, that's the fuel that drives your whole life. And here's the truth. The right attitude doesn't just change how you feel, it changes what you attract. The right attitude attracts success, attracts opportunities, attracts the kind of life you dream about. So if you've been wondering why life feels stuck, why things don't seem to move forward, it might not be luck, it might not be circumstances, it might just be your attitude. And today, I want to show you how flipping that switch inside your mind can flip the script of your entire life. Let me tell you something real. Your attitude is everything. It's not just how you smile at people or how you carry yourself in a room. It's the filter through which you see life. And that filter decides how far you'll go. You see, attitude is like a magnet. It pulls things toward you. Carry negativity, bitterness, and doubt, and what happens? You attract more negativity, you attract setbacks, closed doors, and people who drain your energy. But when you carry the right attitude, hopeful, grateful, determined, you attract success. People want to be around you. Opportunities seem to magically appear, but it's not magic. It's your attitude shaping your world. Let me paint a picture. Imagine two people walking into the same job interview. One walks in with shoulders slouched, eyes down, already convinced they don't have what it takes. Their words sound flat, their energy feels weak. The second person walks in with their head held high, eyes bright, attitude radiating, I belong here, I can do this. Same qualifications, same questions, but 9 times out of 10, the one with the right attitude walks away with the job. Why? Because attitude speaks louder than words on a resume. And it doesn't stop there. Attitude influences everything, from your relationships, to your health, to your bank account. You ever notice how some people always seem to have good things happening to them? They aren't luckier than you, they're not special. Most of the time, they've just chosen to carry an attitude that attracts those things. Let me tell you a story. There was once a man who worked as a janitor in a big corporate office. Every day, he cleaned the floors, emptied the trash, polished the desks, but he didn't see himself as just a janitor. He showed up with pride. He smiled at everyone. He spoke encouragement into people's lives. His attitude was electric, so positive, so genuine that people looked forward to seeing him more than some of their own coworkers. Years went by, and guess what? One of the executives noticed him, noticed his attitude. When a position opened up in customer relations, the executive recommended him. He had no degree, no fancy background, but his attitude got him the shot. From there, he worked his way up. Years later, that same man became one of the top managers in the company. Now think about that. His story wasn't built on perfect circumstances, it was built on his attitude. That's the power of it. See, the truth is, life is going to throw challenges at you. You can't control the weather, you can't control the economy, you can't control what other people say or do, but you can control your attitude. And that one decision can change everything. Take Thomas Edison. The man failed over 1,000 times while trying to invent the light bulb. 1,000 failures. Most people would have quit after 10, maybe after 50. But Edison had the right attitude. He didn't see failure as failure, he saw it as feedback. He famously said, I didn't fail 1,000 times, I just found 1,000 ways that didn't work. That attitude gave us the light that powers the world today. Now, let me bring it closer to home. Think about your own life for a second. How do you show up every day? Do you walk into your job, your school, your relationships with an attitude that says, I'm tired, I'm stuck, I'm not enough? Or do you carry an attitude that says, I'm grateful for this chance, I'm stronger than my struggles, I'm building something great? Because here's the kicker, your attitude doesn't just affect you, it affects everyone around you. If you walk into a room angry, bitter, and negative, people feel it. They shrink. They move away. But if you walk in with positivity, confidence, and belief, people rise. They lean in. They want to follow you. That's why leaders are leaders, not because of a title, but because of an attitude. And here's the part that most people don't realize. Your attitude is a choice. Every single day, you choose it. You may not choose what happens to you, but you choose how you respond. You choose whether you see problems or possibilities. You choose whether you complain or commit. You choose whether you see yourself as a victim or as a fighter. And let me tell you, the choice you make becomes the life you live. So let me ask you this. What kind of magnet have you been? Have you been pulling success, joy, and opportunity toward you? Or have you been pushing it away with negativity and doubt? Because here's the truth. You are one attitude shift away from a completely different life. One decision to see things differently. One decision to show up differently. One decision to carry yourself with faith, gratitude, and determination instead of fear. Your circumstances might not change overnight, but your life will. Because when your attitude changes, the way you speak changes, the way you act changes, the way you treat people changes, and when that happens, everything around you starts shifting too. That's why I say the right attitude attracts success. Not because it's some motivational slogan, but because I've seen it happen over and over again. People with the right attitude rise, no matter where they start from. So here's my challenge to you. Tomorrow morning, when you wake up, don't just stumble into your day, choose your attitude. Say to yourself, today I choose gratitude, today I choose growth, today I choose to win, and watch how your world starts to change. Because at the end of the day, success isn't about having the best background, the most talent, or even the biggest breaks in life. Success, more often than not, comes down to one thing: attitude. Attitude is the lens you see the world through, and that lens shapes the actions you take, the opportunities you notice, and the energy you carry into everything you do. Two people can face the same situation and walk away with completely different outcomes. The difference isn't the situation, it's their attitude. Think about it. Imagine two people starting a small business. Both face challenges, bills piling up, customers walking away, sleepless nights filled with stress. One person says, "This is too hard. I can't do this. The world is against me." They quit, blaming circumstances. The other person says, "This is tough, but I'm learning. Every problem is showing me how to get better." They push forward, they adapt, they grow. Same struggle, same obstacles, but completely different results. Because one carried the wrong attitude and the other carried the right one. That's how powerful attitude is. It doesn't just influence success, it shapes it. Let me tell you a story that proves this. There was a young woman who wanted to become a lawyer. She grew up in poverty, surrounded by people who said her dreams were impossible. She had no connections, no money, and life kept throwing setbacks her way. Every time she applied for internships, she got rejected. Every time she thought she was close to a breakthrough, another door closed. Now, most people would have said, "It's not meant to be. Maybe I should settle for something else." But not her. Her attitude was different. Every rejection letter, she pinned it to her wall, not as a reminder of failure, but as fuel. She said, "If they won't give me a chance, I'll keep knocking until someone does." Years later, she not only became a lawyer, she became one of the most respected in her field. The reason? Her skills grew, yes, but what carried her through was her attitude. Where others saw failure, she saw feedback. Where others gave up, she stayed determined. That's the kind of shift that separates those who dream from those who actually live their dreams. Now let's break this down. Exactly how does attitude shape success? First, attitude controls how you see problems. To someone with the wrong attitude, a problem is the end of the road. To someone with the right attitude, a problem is a detour, a chance to find another way. And the truth is, life will always throw problems your way, but your attitude decides whether those problems stop you or sharpen you. Second, Attitude shapes how people see you. Nobody wants to follow someone negative, bitter, and defeated, but people will rally behind someone who radiates hope, confidence, and determination. Success often requires teamwork, whether in business, relationships, or life, and the right attitude attracts allies, mentors, and opportunities that negativity will never bring. Third, attitude influences your resilience. Talent can take you far, but without resilience, you'll fold the moment things get hard. A positive attitude is what gives you that bounce-back ability. It's the voice inside you that says, yes, this hurts, but I'm not done yet. Let me give you another story. There was a basketball player, shorter than most, not the strongest, not the fastest. He was told over and over that he'd never make it. Coaches overlooked him, teammates doubted him, but his attitude was unmatched. Every no fueled him. Every doubt pushed him harder. He kept training, kept showing up, kept working when nobody was watching. Years later, he didn't just make it to the professional league. He became one of the greatest players of his generation. And when people asked him how he did it, he didn't say, I was born with talent. He said, it was my mindset, my attitude. I refused to quit. That's the power of attitude. It turns impossible into I'm possible. Here's something else to think about. Your attitude doesn't just affect the big moments of success, it affects the small, everyday moments that build up to it. Waking up early to work on your goals instead of hitting snooze, that's attitude. Choosing to keep practicing when you don't see results yet, that's attitude. Deciding to speak up in a meeting when your voice is shaky, that's attitude. Success is built out of those small, daily choices, and each one is shaped by the attitude you choose to carry. Now, I want to hit you with a hard question. How many opportunities have slipped through your fingers, not because you weren't capable, but because your attitude pushed them away? How many times did you say, I can't, when you could have said, let's try? How many doors stayed closed because you stopped knocking too early? Be honest with yourself, because once you see it, you can change it. And that's the beauty of attitude. It's not fixed. You can choose it every single day. Even if you've been negative for years, you can flip the switch today. Even if you carry doubt and fear, you can decide to carry faith and courage instead. So here's the truth. Success is not an accident. It's shaped by the way you think, the way you see, the way you show up. And all of that comes back to one thing, your attitude. Carry the wrong one, and success will keep slipping away. Carry the right one, and success will be drawn to you. So let me ask you this. What kind of attitude are you going to carry into today, tomorrow, and the rest of your life? The one that limits you, or the one that unlocks you? Because the answer to that question could be the difference between the life you have now and the life you've always wanted. Here's something most people don't realize. Attitude isn't something you're just born with. It's not like eye color or height. Attitude is a skill. It's a muscle. And like any muscle, the more you train it, the stronger it gets. The mistake most people make is they think attitude just happens. They say things like, I'll have a good attitude when life finally gets better, or I'll think positive when things go my way. But here's the problem. Life doesn't work like that. Waiting for your circumstances to improve before you fix your attitude is like waiting for a fire to warm up before you throw in the wood. It doesn't work. The truth is, you don't wait for a good attitude. You train it. You choose it every single day. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine you wake up tomorrow morning. The alarm goes off, you're tired, you don't feel like getting up. Right there, in that moment, your training begins. You can roll over and complain, or you can say, today's a gift. I'm alive. I've got another shot at this. That choice might seem small, but small choices, repeated daily, shape your entire mindset. See, training your attitude isn't about one big moment. It's about daily discipline. It's the little habits that build a stronger, sharper, more positive you. Let me tell you about a man named James. James worked in a job he didn't love. Every morning he would wake up frustrated, already thinking about how bad his day was going to be. He carried that attitude into work, snapping at coworkers, dragging his feet, barely giving effort. And guess what? His days were miserable, not because of the job itself, but because of the attitude he trained himself into carrying. One day after hitting rock bottom, he decided to flip the script. Instead of waking up with complaints, he started waking up with gratitude. Before his feet even touched the floor, he said out loud, "Thank you for this day. Thank you for this chance to get better." At first it felt weird, forced, fake even, but he stuck with it. Over weeks and months, it became natural. His coworkers noticed the change. His energy shifted. He got promoted, not because the job suddenly got easier, but because he trained his attitude daily. That's the power of practice. So how do you train your attitude every day? Let me break it down into a few simple but powerful habits. Start with gratitude. Gratitude is like fertilizer for a positive attitude. When you wake up and immediately focus on what you don't have, your mind trains itself to see lack. But when you wake up and focus on what you do have, your health, your family, your opportunities, even just the breath in your lungs, you start your day from a place of abundance, not scarcity. And that shift changes everything. Control your input. What you feed your mind becomes your attitude. If all you consume is negativity, bad news, gossip, toxic conversations, don't be surprised if your attitude stinks. But if you feed your mind with positive content, uplifting people, books or videos that push you higher, you'll notice your outlook shifts too. Speak life, not death. Your words shape your world. If you're always saying, "I can't, I won't, I'm stuck," you're training your attitude to give up before you even try. Instead, start speaking power over your life. Say, "I can learn this, I can grow, I can handle it." Your attitude listens to your words, so make them count. Embrace challenges. This one's big. Most people run from difficulties, but every time you lean into a challenge, instead of running, you train your attitude to see problems as opportunities. It's like going to the gym. Lifting the heavy weights feels uncomfortable at first, but that's what builds strength. Here's another story. There was a young athlete, let's call him Daniel. He wasn't the strongest on the team. In fact, he lost more games than he won. But Daniel had a habit. Every time he lost, instead of sulking, he'd write down what he learned from that game. His teammates complained, but Daniel trained his mind. Over time, he got sharper. His losses turned into lessons. His lessons turned into wins. And eventually, Daniel became the captain of the team. Not because he was naturally the best, but because he trained his attitude to grow instead of quit. Now let's be honest, training your attitude isn't always easy. Some days you'll wake up and the last thing you want to do is be positive. Some days life will hit you so hard you'll feel like quitting. But here's the thing, you don't need a perfect attitude every day. You just need a consistent practice. Even showing up with a slightly better outlook than yesterday counts as progress. And little by little, that consistency compounds. Think about it like this. One drop of water doesn't look like much, but keep dropping water on a rock long enough and it shapes the rock itself. That's how training works. Daily drops of gratitude, positivity, and resilience will carve out a whole new version of you. So, let me ask you, how are you training your attitude right now? Are you letting negativity train you without realizing it? Or are you intentionally building a mindset that attracts success? Because here's the reality. If you don't train your attitude, life will train it for you. And life is tough. Life will try to break you. But if you've built your attitude like a muscle, you'll bend, but you won't break. You'll fall, but you'll rise. Here's my challenge for you. Tomorrow morning, before you grab your phone, before you check social media, do 3 things. Say thank you for something in your life, speak one positive declaration about your day, and write down one challenge you're willing to face with a winning attitude. Do that for 30 days straight and watch how your entire outlook shifts. Watch how people notice, watch how opportunities start to open. Because at the end of the day, your success doesn't come from luck. It comes from what you've been training inside of you all along. Train your attitude daily, and success won't just be something you chase, it will be something you attract. Let's pause for a moment and imagine your future. Not the one you're stuck in now, not the one limited by fear, doubt, or excuses. I'm talking about the future you dream about. The version of your life where you're winning, where you feel alive, where you wake up excited every morning because you're living on your terms. Now here's the million-dollar question. What's standing between the life you have today and the life you dream about tomorrow? It's not luck, it's not who your parents are, it's not even about money. The real key, the door you've been searching for, comes down to one thing: your attitude. Your attitude is the master key that unlocks your future. Think about it like this. Opportunities are all around you. Doors are everywhere. But without the right attitude, you don't even see them. Or worse, you see them, but you're too scared to knock. The right attitude, though, makes you bold. It makes you believe. It gives you the courage to walk up to that door, knock, and walk through. Here's the truth most people avoid. Your future is not built on tomorrow. It's built on the choices you make today. And your choices today flow directly from your attitude. If your attitude says, "I can't do it, I'll fail, it's too late," then your choices will match that. You'll hesitate, you'll settle, you'll shrink, and 10 years from now, you'll look back with regret. But if your attitude says, "I can learn, I can grow, I can rise," then you'll act with confidence. You'll take risks, you'll push forward, and 10 years from now, you'll look back with pride because you gave it everything you had. Your future is not waiting for you to figure it out. It's waiting for you to believe in it. Let me tell you a story that still gives me chills. There was a man named Chris. Chris grew up in a tough neighborhood. Drugs, violence, broken homes, it was all around him. Everyone told him, "You'll never make it out. People like us don't succeed." And for a while, he believed it. He drifted, lost, angry, convinced that his future was already decided for him. But one day he met a mentor who looked him straight in the eye and said, "Chris, your future isn't written yet. The pen is in your hand. The question is, what attitude will you write with?" That line hit him hard. He realized his attitude had been one of defeat. He'd been writing his story like a tragedy before it had ever even begun. From that moment on, Chris changed. He decided to approach every single day with a winning attitude. He went back to school. He worked harder than ever before. He cut off toxic people and surrounded himself with those who lifted him higher. And years later, that same kid who was told he'd never make it out, he became a successful entrepreneur, creating jobs in the very neighborhood people thought would trap him forever. What unlocked his future wasn't luck, it was his attitude. Here's the lesson. Your future is not defined by your circumstances, your attitude does. We all face setbacks, we all carry scars, but the right attitude says, "My past is a lesson, not a life sentence. My scars are proof that I'm stronger, not broken. My failures are stepping stones, not stop signs." That kind of attitude unlocks doors that others can't even see. Now let's talk about vision, because attitude and vision go hand in hand. If you want a powerful future, you've got to see it before it happens. But here's the thing, you won't even bother to dream if your attitude is stuck in negativity. Negative attitudes kill vision. They say, "Don't dream too big, don't get your hopes up, don't try because you'll only fail." But the right attitude fuels vision. It whispers, "Why not me? Why not now? Why not here?" And when you carry that kind of attitude, you give yourself permission to dream again. You unlock the belief that your future can be bigger than your past. And once you see it, you can chase it. Let's get real. Unlocking your future doesn't mean it's going to be easy. The right attitude doesn't magically erase challenges. What it does is give you the strength to rise above them. Think of a seed planted in the dirt.
On the surface, it looks like nothing is happening. It's buried, it's covered, it's pressed down by the weight of the soil. But underneath, something powerful is happening. That seed is growing roots. It's getting stronger in the dark before it breaks through the surface. That's what your future looks like right now. You might feel buried, you might feel stuck, but if you have the right attitude, you'll realize you're not buried, you're planted. And sooner or later, with the right mindset, you're going to break through. So, let me ask you a serious question. What future are you unlocking with the attitude you're carrying right now? Are you carrying an attitude of fear that locks doors shut? Or are you carrying an attitude of faith that opens doors wide? Are you living with an attitude that keeps you stuck in the past? Or are you training your mind to see a future filled with growth, opportunities, and purpose? Because your future will always reflect your attitude. Here's what I want you to remember. Success is not about where you start. It's about how you see, how you think, and how you act. And all of that flows from your attitude. So, if you want to unlock your future, you don't need to wait for the perfect timing, the perfect plan, or the perfect opportunity. Start by unlocking the one thing you already control, your attitude. Because once your attitude is right, the doors of life swing open. And when they do, you won't just walk into your future, you'll run into it, fully alive, fully ready, and absolutely unstoppable. So, my friend, remember this: the right attitude attracts success, not just once, not just today, but every day. It changes the way you think, the way you act, and the way life responds to you. If you want to win, if you want to rise, if you want to step into the best version of yourself, start with your attitude. Fix that, and everything else will follow. Let me leave you with this question. If today was the beginning of your success story, what kind of attitude would you carry into it? The answer is already inside you. If this message gave you something to think about, share it with someone who needs a push today. And don't forget, subscribe, join this family, and let's grow stronger together. Stay grateful, stay focused, keep your attitude sharp, and I'll see you at the top.